What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today, just for a little bit of fun, we are going to be going through 5 players in Battlefield 2042 that we all hate. Obviously, in pretty much any shooter that you play, there's always going to be those players that are doing some pretty dodgy tactics, and they do often get very frustrating. And so, just to take the piss out of those guys, we are going to be going through a list of the top 5 that we all hate. Now, to counter this one, I'm also going to be doing 5 players that we all love, and that will be going up in probably a week or so after this video. So if you guys enjoy this type of content, then be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on the part 2 to this video. So anyway, without wasting any more time, getting into the first type of player on the list, and this is the vehicle sweat. Now, this has kind of always been an issue in Battlefield. Obviously, every single Battlefield in the past has had vehicles as well, and we all know how frustrating it is when there's just a player on the other team that is way better than everyone else, and they're in a vehicle as well. They can literally just dominate the entire lobby, and it is pretty much no fun for anyone in the game except for that player. But in Battlefield 2042, with even more vehicles, and some of those vehicles being a little bit overpowered, it seems to have been taken to the next level. In all fairness, they are in the game to be used, and if you are good enough at using vehicles to pretty much dominate the lobby, then fair play to you. I'm an absolute bot when it comes to playing as vehicles, so maybe if I was good with vehicles, then I would be considered a vehicle sweat as well. But unfortunately, I am just a bit of a bot with vehicles, so I am very easily frustrated by vehicles sometimes, and I often make it my entire goal in a game to just take out as many vehicles as I can. But more often than not, they definitely get the better of me, so they definitely deserve a spot on this list. Now, next up, we have the Angel and Falck players that don't revive anyone. Now, this is a community-wide issue, and I know that a lot of people are just as frustrated as I am when it comes to players not reviving. This has been an issue in Battlefield pretty much since I've started playing, and I don't think this will ever change, so it's kind of just becoming a meme at this point that we're always just going to be complaining about players who don't revive us. But at least in previous titles, if you were playing as the medic class, for example, maybe you chose that class just to use the weapons and to be able to heal yourself and stuff like that. Whereas in Battlefield 2042, with the specialist system and with how free you can be with it, if you're still picking Angel and Falck, whose main objective in any game is to essentially support their teammates, and you're still not choosing to support your teammates, then you are definitely choosing the wrong specialist, and I would suggest picking someone else, to be completely honest. For me, this is probably the absolute most frustrating player on this list. There is absolutely nothing worse than going down and you're completely safe and there's a medic right next to you and they just completely ignore you because they're off trying to get kills. And so again, those non-reviving Angel and Falck players definitely deserve a spot on this list. Now, next up, we have the snipers who camp at the back of the map. This is one thing that I've never really understood it, to be honest, because I do not see how that is possibly fun sitting in your spawn and trying to pick off enemies from like a kilometer away. And it's amplified even further when there's multiple of those players in the same spot doing the same thing. It's actually pretty funny when you go past a bunch of teammates who are just sitting at the back of their spawn and you can just see like 5 people there. They're all playing as Casper for some reason, and they've all got their snipers out, and I can guarantee there's probably a grand total of like 6 kills between that whole group of players in the entire game. Don't get me wrong, if you are new to shooters and you're trying to figure out sniping, then obviously that gets a little bit of leeway in this situation. I think at one point we were all sitting at the back of the map trying to learn how to snipe, but for the people who do it pretty much game in and game out, get your ass down to the front lines and actually help your team out. Now, next up, we have one that is becoming more and more popular with pretty much any game that's coming out, not just Battlefield, but I have noticed it quite a bit in Battlefield 2042, and that is the slider cancelling bunny hopper. These are the types of players who are absolute sweat lords, and they, they've tried to master their movement, and they're running around the map bunny hopping and sliding all over the place, trying to make themselves look as professional as possible. And although they do look like dickheads at the end of the day, they can be pretty hard to take out when they're just jumping around and essentially doing like the Matrix thing to your bullets, and just they're dodging every single bullet that you shoot at them. But at the end of the day, the joke's on them because they will end up with carpal tunnel syndrome. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, this one is taking the piss out of myself. I'm the absolute worst when it comes to slide cancelling and bunny hopping. After playing Warzone for probably 18 months there, and that was really the only game that I played, this is me to a T. I cannot play this game without pretty much sliding around everywhere and jumping around like a dickhead. But I'm going to blame Warzone for that, and I'm definitely going to pretend like it isn't my fault at all. Now, last on the list, we have a pretty simple one, and this is just Boris. If you play Boris, fuck you. All jokes aside, Boris can actually be pretty handy for the team, but I cannot explain how frustrating it is when you're playing, say, Breakthrough, and there's like 10 or you know, even sometimes 20 Borises on the other team, and you're essentially getting double the amount of enemies that you should be, because they put down their freaking turrets everywhere, and you literally just cannot push up onto those front lines because the turrets have aimbot from about 500 meters away. And with the recent changes where it doesn't actually die when Boris dies straight away, it has been made even worse. So this one is definitely very frustrating. When I did my specialist rankings, I actually ranked Boris dead last, and to be completely honest, and granted that was before he got a little bit of a buff, but to be completely honest, I'd borderline put Boris at the top now. So he's had a pretty big swing on the list, and I think we all agree that Boris mains are the actual devil. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. If you guys have any other players that we all hate, then definitely let us all know down in the comments. These were just the 5 main players that I came up with pretty quickly, but I'm absolutely certain that there are many more players that we all hate, and I could probably make a whole series out of this, to be honest. So like I said, if there are any that I missed, then definitely leave a comment down below. Like I said, I will be doing 5 players that we all love in Battlefield 2042, so if you guys are keen on seeing that as well, then definitely feel free to subscribe and turn on those notifications. We are on the grind in 2022, aiming for 30,000 subscribers, so if you guys are new, then definitely hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to support the content that I make here on YouTube, then consider becoming a channel member. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.